Priming, also known as anchoring, is something that we also can't avoid as humans with brains. What's that product? Alka-Seltzer. What's the tagline? What's the recommended dose for Alka-Seltzer?
1, 2.
Actually, you only need 1. But they have primed you to use 2 through this ad, which legend has it doubled the sales of Alka-Seltzer. We are primed. We are automatically primed to certain things, right? The first number we hear affects everything else that we think and believe. This is actually not an e-commerce case study, but this is from Williams-Sonoma in an offline case study where they talked about how they doubled the sales of their bread maker. You want to sell a lot more $235 bread makers? Add a $380 bread maker right next to it. I don't buy a lot of bread makers. I don't know how much a bread maker is supposed to cost, right? This works really well for things that's like a low information consumer. So I don't know what this bread maker, I don't know if that's a high price or a low price, but I know it's cheaper than that one. So adding choice gives us the opportunity to prime our audience to a certain number. This happens all the time. This is a powerful sales tactic in negotiation, right? I'm going to sell, I got a house, I'm going to sell it, it's a $500,000 house. But I'd be willing to consider like $495. Compare that to this. I got a house, I'm going to sell it, it's a $500,000. But I'm willing to consider like $450. You know, I just set the increment, I just primed you in both cases for the increment for negotiation. Very powerful. It's the first number that you hear. If you're selling something, if you're, you know, we build websites. We don't build $500,000 websites. The average website that Orbit builds is probably in the $30,000 to $70,000 range. Sounds a lot better than, we don't build $5,000 websites, right? I'm priming you with that first number, and it's inescapable. The studies on this are really disturbing, just how powerful priming and anchoring can really be. It's used all the time in the web context on pricing pages. This is one of Neil Patel's websites called KISSmetrics. You guys may have heard of it. The pricing page, actually, since it's changed, this high number now is $2,500. That guy's just going big. OK, $150, $250, $500. What's happening psychologically is we're giving people the option to upsell themselves or to consider things that are kind of in that medium range. Like $250 sounds pretty reasonable right now. $500 a month is a lot of money. Compare it to this one. $7, $12, or $22. Whoa, $22. Hold on a minute. That sounds expensive. $22 sounds expensive. $250 sounds like a deal. Why? Because I have been primed by the other numbers in this context. This again works really well with low information consumers. It happens in wine all the time.
It uses in restaurants, I think, on menus too.
Restaurants,
Have an
sure.
expensive item, get you to buy the next one down.
Yep, that thing's $48. Wait a minute, you know, but the $32, you know, fillet looks pretty reasonable. Wine is a great example. They do it in wine all the time, right? Throw a really high ticket item on that price list, and everything else that looks. You are now primed for that as the high end. That's what expensive looks like. In the web context, another thing to consider here: don't lead with a price promotion. All you're doing is making your audience cheap. I hate it when my clients do that. I hate it when they go to a client's website and there's like right on the home page, it's like this big discount. It's like, why would you do that? Why not? You know, it's just not the right psychology. You're triggering the you're using priming to hurt your own marketing by putting the psychology of your audience at a lower range price-wise.